Tonight, tornadoes touching down in Colorado just after entire neighborhoods across southeastern Kentucky were devastated.
It's a nightmare.
Parts of the Midwest unrecognizable.
And I tell you, I've never been so scared before in my life.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
After multiple tornadoes tore through with some reports of wind speeds of more than 100 miles per hour. In hard-hit London, Kentucky, Adeline and Rachel Johnson huddled together with 5 other family members in the bathroom. They all made it out alive.
And what was it like when you walked out?
It was a mess. We had a community of people in this neighborhood and it's gone. It's gone.
The severe weather outbreak killed at least 28 across 3 states. The death toll in Kentucky, 19.
What are some of the greatest challenges that you guys are seeing right now, especially with the ongoing search and rescue efforts?
Tough part of this one is I worry there might be a whole block out there. Everybody's dead.
One of the victims, a veteran firefighter, killed while responding to the storm, remembered for his courage, commitment, and sacrifice.
Is this one of the worst natural disasters you've seen?
The worst.
During a ride-along in Laurel County, we saw firsthand a landscape that changed overnight.
And then just as quick as a tornado can go through, it's gone, and it's tough.
The same weather system triggered a massive dust storm in Chicago Friday, followed by powerful storms in Missouri.
Oh my God, dude.
A preliminary EF3 tornado touched down in the St. Louis area, reducing brick homes to rubble. Our Shaquille Brewster is there.
City officials say more than 5,000 buildings were impacted by this tornado, many of them from large trees that simply crashed into homes. But you see here, neighbors already coming out, helping to clean up the debris ahead of this long road to recovery.
A race to dig out with no time to spare ahead of more severe weather on the way.
And Kathy Park joins us now from London, Kentucky. And Kathy, we can see how bad some of the damage is behind you.
Hallie, that's right. We are learning that a preliminary EF2 tornado came through with winds of more than 111 miles per hour. And unfortunately, this community was in the bullseye. And starting tomorrow, 31 million Americans are on the path for more severe weather that stretches from Iowa to Texas, and more tornadoes are in the forecast again. Hallie?
More about the person who died in a church collapse this afternoon. Family confirming with First Alert 4, Patricia Pendleton lost her life while sheltering from the tornado. She was inside Centennial Christian Church in North St. Louis when it partially collapsed. Our David Emilati spoke to Pendleton's family.
I got to speak with Pat's husband, Harry, who spoke with so much love and pain. He says that they were just a couple of months away from celebrating 56 years of marriage. He says his wife did everything at Centennial Christian Church except sleep. The church, after the storm, the roof caved in, the door blown out. The steeple was actually twice its height, but now it's just rubble here on the front lawn. The people here that I spoke with this afternoon simply are devastated, saying there was no one else like Pat.
Amazing servant of God in his church.
That's Reverend Derek Perkins, stunned, speaking on camera at First Alert 4 on behalf of Patricia Pendleton's family.
Right now, we're just saddened. Our hearts are broken about all of this.
She was one of the first people that I met in service here.
Ward 10 Alderwoman Shameen Clark Hubbard attends Centennial Christian and says losing Pat in the church collapse is devastating.
She gave selflessly. It wasn't about, look at me, I'm doing this. It wasn't about, make sure you note that I'm doing this. Everything she did, you could tell was from her heart.
We were there as first responders rushed supplies to the injured in the partial church collapse, while others worked to clear fallen beams and rubble to reach those trapped inside. Another loss for this Fountain Park community is the destruction of the church. It stood at the corner of Auburn and Fountain for more than 121 years.
This community always rides together, and the church is a critical piece in this community.
Harry tells me that his wife was here at church as early as 11 a.m. on Friday, getting ready to serve lunches. They served dozens of meals a day for folks who needed a meal before the storms rolled in. The damage, as you can see, is extensive. It's unclear how long it's going to take to clean up all of this. But what I am told by one of the members of this congregation is that this church will continue in some form, no matter what. Outside Centennial Christian Church, David Emilati, First Alert 4.
We are told Patricia Pendleton died on that scene. 2 others hurt in the church collapse were rushed to the hospital. Right now, there is no word on the extent of their injuries. Meanwhile,
basement, as we walking down the steps, we could just hear the whole house just
falling apart.
The whole neighborhood's gone. You know, you see it on TV, but you'll never think it happened to you, but it can.
It's a lot of people out here who still need help. I don't know what to do.
Tens of thousands of people dealing with the fallout after an EF3 tornado carved a deadly path through St. Louis, killing 5 people and injuring dozens more. Tonight, a curfew is in effect again in parts of St. Louis hit hard by Friday's deadly tornado. This is First Alert 4 at 10. I'm Morgan Harris. Residents have been surveying the damage. Now the long process of recovery begins. We began our team coverage with our Russell Kensall. Our First Alert 4 crews have been in the destruction zone all day. Russell.
Right now, I'm at the command post at Kings Highway and Delmar. Police tonight are working 12-hour shifts, and there are plans for one more search for victims looking in the most heavily damaged buildings. Today, while we were out, we saw people coming together, helping their neighbors, and we saw people in desperate situations who've lost everything.
I ran and jumped in the bathtub.
As Carmen Ozier Howard took shelter in her bathroom, her house on Labadie Avenue crumbled around her.
It doesn't look like a house.
Ozier Howard has lost almost everything. She slept in her car last night, and her situation is desperate.
Do you have insurance?
No.
What are you going to do?
I don't know what to do. I don't have anything, nothing. I don't have any kids. All I had was me and my dogs in this house.
Missouri Task Force 1 has been called in to help search damaged, collapsed structures for victims. We caught up with them at Newstead and Margaretta. Power crews are also busy across the tornado zone, repairing damaged poles and restoring power.
Luckily, it hasn't been hot.
On this block, it was water crews hard at work. A tree was blown onto a fire hydrant, causing a major water leak.
So we're just walking around trying to lend a helping hand. It's a lot of people out here who still need help.
Jayla and Raven Jenkins are doing their part to help their neighbors, using brooms and trash bags.
We're sweeping up the objects, all the fallen debris, all the shingles and stuff, and getting them out the street.
Devastating damage on Farland Avenue near Newstead. LaDonna Warren Berryhill and others were inside at the time the tornado struck.
As soon as we got in the basement, as we were walking down the steps, we could just hear the whole house just falling apart.
The house has been in her husband's family for 48 years. It's a family that's rallied to their support.
This catastrophe brought us all back together like didn't miss a beat.
Alexander Berryhill works for the Red Cross. He's been part of the mission to help disaster victims in the past, but this time he was the one calling for help.
So it's one thing to see it, and it's one thing to go through it. I now know both sides.
First of all praises to the Father Yahweh, Ba'ashem YAHAWASHI, Ba'ashem Barakadash. Shabbat Shalom to all the brothers and sisters in recognition to observing this day for worshiping the Most High. Sundown this evening to sundown tomorrow evening. My people of the book, let's get some rest. Worship and praises in to the Father Yahweh in Yahawashi's name, because he is definitely worthy of such. And also, it is a commandment throughout all of our dwellings that we should. Condolences to the people there in St. Louis and all the other places that the tornado hit last Friday. Okay? Last Friday was an interesting situation. Last Friday, on the way home, me and Joan, come across 3 power poles, that was like all shifted, just laying down. You see what I'm saying? And to our surprise, there was a power outage in our entire neighborhood. Okay? Well, basically, across the street, you see, power was on, but across our side of the street, it wasn't. You see, I was highly upset. I was highly disappointed because, just the night before, I had barbecued some beef ribs and everything, and I was looking forward to coming home, getting comfortable and popping them babies in the oven for us to eat. But we ain't had no power, you see? So that kind of put a damper on things, and I was upset about it. And our power didn't come back on until 7:20 the next day, Saturday. You know what I mean? So that's just what it was. But in my discovery, I come across those stories later on in the day, that Saturday, about what these people in St. Louis went through. And I said, the situation that we were in wasn't nothing like that. And I'm grateful to the Most High and YAHAWASHI name that it wasn't. If all I had to really be upset about is them ribs, that wasn't nothing. You see what I mean? So I definitely praise the Most High for that, for counting our blessing and blessing us so we didn't have to go through that. You see, because it could have been so much worse. But the thing is this. We are in the end times, people. And it is time for those of us that say we love the Most High, we love the Hamashiach that He sent to us to redeem us, that we believe upon. You understand? We better start acting in ways that we really do, because destruction is coming. Okay? And that's just what it is. As you can see right here in this picture, we're seeing things that the world didn't see as often, where the clouds form into big giant faces and just hover, out of the day and night skies and just watch people. You see what I mean? They are not hiding anymore. They are everywhere. And it's time for those of us that haven't repented to repent. That's if you care about the health of your soul in the afterlife or what have you. Time's running short. Seek the Most High while He is to be sought, and repent. Okay? Now, without further ado, let's get into some scriptures. Here in Nahum, chapter 1, verse 3, it reads, "The Lord is slow to anger and great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked. The Lord have His way in the whirlwind and in the storm, and the clouds are the dust of His feet." Now, we've just seen an example of that in these tornadoes and these hurricanes that we have been seeing. Here is the word that the Most High has prophesied right here before our face in these end time prophecies, and it cannot be ignored. If you try to ignore this, then you are a fool. Okay? Let's understand something. Here in Nahum chapter 1, verse 1, the burden of Nineveh, the book of the vision of Nahum, the Elkoshite. Yahweh is jealous, and the Lord revengeth, and is furious. The Lord will take vengeance on His adversaries, and He reserveth wrath for His enemies. The Lord is slow to anger and great in power, and will not at all quit the wicked. The Lord have His way in the whirlwind and in the storm, and the clouds are the dust of His feet. He rebuketh the sea, and maketh it dry, and drieth up all rivers. Bashan languish, and Carmel, and the flower of Lebanon languish. The mountains quake at Him, and the hills melt, and the earth is burned at His presence. Yeah, the world and all that dwell therein. Who can stand before His indignation? Question. To answer that question, nobody. Okay, and that's just what it is. Nobody. And who can abide in the fierceness of His anger? Question. Nobody. Okay? That's the answer. His fury is poured out like fire, and the rocks are thrown down by Him. Okay? Like I said, He's going to continue to prophesy and show His prophecies manifest right before our eyes in these end days. It is very important that whoever come across this video and have not repented, you very well should. Okay? You need to. Now, Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 39. So you need to understand who you're dealing with right here. And it reads, "See now that I, even I, am He, and there is no God with me. I kill, and I make alive. I wound, and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand." Do you hear that? You see this in black and white written right before you, before your face. And what it says is what it means. Normally the Hamashiach speaks in parables. This is plain, simple, and clear. This is the Most High talking right here. No one can deliver you from his hand, whether it be for you, for him to save you, or if you mark for destruction. Okay? Now, let's read this right here. Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 36. The Lord shall judge his people and repent himself for his servants, when he seeth that their power is gone, and there is none shut up or left. And he shall say, where are their gods, their rock in whom they trusted? Now what he's talking about right here is people going after and serving false gods. Okay? When you serve false gods and whatever, you got your faith in the ancestors, you got your faith in rocks, statues, white Jesus. You understand what I'm saying? Guess what? You are on a dangerous path to destruction. Okay? Verse 38. Which did eat the fat of their sacrifices and drank the wine of their drink offerings. Let them rise up and help you and be your protection. See now that I am he, and there is no God with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. For I lift up my hand to heaven and say, I live forever. If I whet my glittering sword and mine hand take hold on judgment, I will render vengeance to my enemies and will reward them that hate me. Give you a little note right here. If you are worshiping anything else other than the Most High, don't you know what that means? You hate him. That's what that all boils down to. To continue, verse 42. I will make mine arrows drunk with blood, and my sword shall devour flesh, and that the blood of the slain and of the captives from the beginning of revengeance upon the enemy. Okay? It says what it means. He means what he say too. Understand that. Let's go over in Isaiah chapter 29, verse 6. Thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts with thunder and with earthquakes and great noise, with storm and tempest and the flame of devouring fire. Now, we haven't seen the devouring fire yet, although some places is seeing it, but not in the aspect of what this is actually talking about. But the storm and tempest we're seeing, this is what happened last Friday to St. Louis, Missouri, Kentucky, and all those other areas that were affected by those storms and tempest. Tempest is great winds, okay? Great winds. And as you can see, after those great winds, which is tempest, blew through those neighborhoods, it wasn't nothing but rubble left. Houses, churches, you know what I mean? All blown down and reduced to nothing, okay? This is the Most High right here, okay? Nothing to play with. You see, what it is, he sends these right here. And I do believe these are angels. I'm not really sure. Could be Nephilim, but I think these particular ones are angels. When he sent them to do something, whatever it may be done, they ask no questions. They just go and carry it out. You see, these are what's in the wind, is control the wind to blow gently or blow harshly. You see what I'm saying? And these little old houses, little apartment complexes, whatever you want to call them, is nothing to them. Nothing. Not even a freight train. Nothing. These things right here is just, they're awesome. Okay, in power, because the Most High give them that power. Okay, that's what it is. Now, here, Isaiah chapter 29 of let's see, my much time I got. 29 verse 3. And I will camp against thee around about, and will lay siege against thee with the mouth, and I will raise forts against thee, and thou shalt be brought down, and shalt speak out of the ground, and thy speech shall be low out of the dust, and thy voice shall be as one that hath a familiar spirit out of the ground. Okay? Familiar spirit is something like demonics. Okay? You know how that, well, I don't know. Well, you may have not ever heard a voice that sound like that, but I have, and they're kind of scary. Okay? Now, and thy speech shall whisper out of the dust. Moreover, the multitude of thy strangers shall be like small dust, and the multitude of the terrible ones shall be as chaff that passeth away. Yea, it shall be at an instant, suddenly, thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts with thunder, and with earthquake, and great noise, with storm and tempest, and the flame of devouring fire. And the multitude of all nations, all the nations that is, that fight against Ariel, even all that fight against her and her munition, and that distress her, shall be as a dream of a night vision. It shall even be as when an hungry man dreameth, and behold, he eateth, but he awaketh, and his soul is empty. Or as when a thirsty man dreameth, and behold, he drinketh, but when he awaketh, and behold, he is faint, and his soul hath appetite. So shall the multitude of all the nations be that fight against Mount Zion. Stay yourself and wonder. Cry ye out and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink. Okay? Well, that's basically just saying that what's coming, but these people are too drunk with the ways of this life. You know what I mean? And this system. You know what I mean? These worldly things, they drunk, and they can't see what's actually happening around them and what's coming. Okay, that's basically what it all boils down to. Here in Revelation chapter 22, verse 12, and it reads, see, here's what we got to understand. And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me to give every man according to his work, according to as his work shall be. Okay, this is the Hamashiach speaking, and he comes, like I said, just like those tornadoes did. You see what I'm saying? For example, quickly and suddenly, and just like that, everything is over. It's over with. You see, you don't want to get caught like that. See, I'm using those tornadoes that what happened last Friday as an example, just a small example of the Most High's power, you know, and how you do not want to get caught up in that. It's not worth it. Okay. Okay, let's see here. I don't think I got a. Let's go over to Matthew chapter 24, verse 36. The Hamashiach speak here. It says, but of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of the heavens, but my Father only. This is when the Hamashiach is actually speaking of his coming. He don't even know when it is. Only the Father Yahweh knows. Back to the tornado. Nobody knew when that tornado was coming. Okay? Nobody even gave it one thought, not one inkling of a thought, to say that's what they were going to be going through on that day or that night. You see what I'm saying? And that's just like the coming of the Most High. When he does coming. That's what it is. You got to understand it. You do not want to be caught unaware. You want to be prepared. And the only way to be prepared is to repent and be saved. And then you can seek salvation. You see. Now, here in Isaiah chapter 55, verse 6, and it reads, Seek ye the Lord while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. Okay? I think I got time to read this whole one right here. Yeah. Okay? Now, Isaiah chapter 55, verse 3. Incline your ear and come unto me. Hear, and your soul shall live. And I will make an everlasting covenant with you, even the sure mercies of David. Behold, I have given him for a witness to the people, a leader and commander to the people. Behold, thou shalt call a nation that thou knowest not, and nations that knew not thee shall run unto thee because of the Lord thy God, and for the Holy One of Israel, for he hath glorified thee. Seek ye the Lord while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts. And let him return unto the Lord, and he will have mercy upon him, and to our God, for he will abundantly pardon. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. Okay? He's much greater than our little carnal minds down here. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people think that they are on the level of the Most High. But the main thing about this lesson, the main point, seek the Most High while he is near to seek him. Okay? Because at his coming, it's going to be too late to seek him. You don't want to get caught up like that. You see what I mean? You want to repent. Because when he comes, all wrath, all his wrath and all his fury is going to be poured out without indignation to all of his enemies. I don't care how much you bounce up and down in church clapping, talking about Jesus this, Jesus that. Jesus is not the Hamashiach. That is not him. That's a white man that the evil forces, came up with to cause you to worship another god. You see, and that's basically what that all boils down to. At the Council of Nicaea, okay, Constantine came up with that. They painted over the faces of the judges. Okay, you'll find that in 1 Maccabees chapter 3 verse 48. Okay, and the Hamashiach is a judge. He's a judge of judges, if you understand what I'm saying. King of kings, Lord of lords. And the Father, Yahweh, well, he's the omnipotent God of all gods. And that's just what it is. That's all I got on this one, people. I hope I said something to stimulate your spiritual growth, and I hope you found the lesson edifying. All praise to the Father, Yahweh, in YAHAWASHI name. People, please remember to live your life as though we are being watched. This is James, and I'm out. Peace.